Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about my Hermès appointment and my experience with getting a bag in Paris. I was so lucky to score this one on my last day in Paris. If you're new to my channel, my name is Marlene and I do videos and vlogs about luxury handbags, shoes and fashion in general. So if that's something you like, please consider subscribing to my channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss out of any of my videos. As I said in the intro, I was so lucky to get an appointment on my last day in Paris. I wasn't lucky, but my boyfriend was lucky to get the appointment. I'm going to talk about my experience and also tell the storyline and also give you some tips if you are considering applying for an appointment in Paris. So yeah, that's what we are going to talk about today. First things first, I'm going to talk about the system because in Paris it is a different system than in the rest of the world. Because in Paris you can basically score a Birkin or a Kelly, a quota bag without any purchase history because you have this raffle system where you apply on the internet, and the raffle system is not based on purchase history or anything like that. So you can basically score a quota bag without a purchase history. Of course you can get lucky at a local Hermès boutique or when you are traveling, but my experience is that they don't want to offer a tourist a bag without spending something in the store before you get the offer, but it can happen sometimes. So let's talk about the system, how it works. It is just basically this website where you apply. I will leave the link to the website in the description box, so you can take a look at it if you want. So here is the website. You get a choice if you want to choose a specific store or if you don't have any preference about the store. And after that you have to write your last name and your first name. And after that you have to paste in your phone number and also your email. And lastly you have to also write your passport number. I think it is because they have to be sure that you only apply one time per person per day, and after that you just get an email where you have to confirm your email, and after that you have applied. So over to the applying. You can apply Monday to Saturday between 10:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Paris time. You cannot apply on Sundays because the system is closed on Sundays. So if you want an appointment on Monday, you have to apply for it on Saturday, and the store is of course closed on Sunday, so therefore there are no appointments on Sunday. And if you have gotten the appointment, you get an answer around 8 to 8:30 p.m. the same day that you applied. Often if you didn't get the appointment, you get an answer very late. That's my personal experience. I have often gotten the answer around 2 in the night, so don't be afraid if you are not getting the answer, because there is a little delay when it comes to those who haven't got the appointment. So basically that was the system. Of course you can also try to get a drop-in appointment, but with that said, my experience wasn't that great because I stood in line. I was the first person or the second person every day when I was in Paris in the line to the store and asked about an appointment, but every time they said no, and I did spend something in the store, but I just got the same answer straight away, no. And I also tried to ask in different times. I asked every morning, but I also asked before lunch because we were in the same area as the store. And the only store I tried hard at was the FSH store, Faubourg Saint-Honoré, because when I was there in August, the factory was closed in all of August, so they were very short on bags, and I thought that my biggest chances was to get an appointment or a bag from the FSH store. That was the reason. And also another reason why I tried only there is because the vibe was better there. On the first day we were in all Hermès stores to just feel the vibe, which store I liked best. The one that I liked the least was the Hermès store because they were very rude and not nice at all. they didn't want to help me with anything. And I also tried the St. George store. It is a little store, so they didn't have as much as the other two. And also I got to talk to a Swedish sales associate. She was very nice. I'm only going to use her as my main essay when I'm in Paris now, but she was completely honest with me and said that we don't have any bags that you want. So her best tip was to apply at the FSH store, because she knew that they had better stock than the St. George store. And she also told me that when you apply, you have to choose a specific store, because then you will have the bigger chance to get an appointment. I don't know if that's true or if it was a coincidence, but the first days that we applied, we didn't choose a specific store. And I think we only applied 2 times with a specific store where we got an appointment. So I don't know if we were extremely lucky or if it is true, but that's one of my tips as well. So over to the story time. I applied the day before we arrived in Paris, because we only live 2.5 hours away from Paris with plane. So if I got an appointment on the following day, I could change my flight. That would have been very easy, but I didn't get the appointment. I applied 10:30, the second they opened the raffle system. That was a Tuesday, and on Wednesday we arrived in Paris, and I actually applied when I was on the plane. It was quite stressful because the first plane from where I live was a little bit delayed, because I have planned that the time we arrived in Oslo was going to be exact the time that I could apply on the system, but the plane was delayed and we almost didn't catch our flight to Paris, but we did, and I applied while the plane was taking off to Paris. Barely made it, but I did. I didn't think it was going to go through, but it did. Last minute, but the system is open until 7:30 p.m. Paris time. Then we arrived in Paris. We got to our hotel and just went out to eat some lunch and go to all the different stores. The first one was Severus, the next one was FSH, and lastly the St. George. And on the first day they weren't so nice in each store, but I got the best vibe at the FSH. After the stores closed, we were just going out to eat some dinner, and you get the notification between 8 and 8:30 if you get the appointment. I was so nervous every day when we went out to eat some dinner, because I wanted the appointment so much. But the first day we didn't get the appointment. I think I got the answer around 2 or 3 in the night. It was quite late. I just went to bed and checked the following day, and where it says basically that I didn't get the appointment. On Thursday we were eating breakfast and rushing to go to the FSH store. I was the first person in line and was hoping to get a leather appointment. I've heard that many people have tried it and was successful, but many also have tried but didn't get any bags, so I didn't have the highest hopes. But I asked and they didn't have any appointments. We were just looking around in the boutique. We also bought some things. We bought a pair of Cyper sandals for my boyfriend. I also tried to ask about different shoes and different things that I really wanted. They didn't have anything of that, so we just ended up getting the Cyper sandals for my boyfriend on Thursday, but no luck with an appointment there. We went back to our hotel and went out to the St. George because it is quite close to our hotel. We just went out to try our luck, and on the St. George I asked about something that I really wanted. They didn't have most of it, but they did have a pair of Cyper sandals in black, and I was so happy that I got a pair. And here is where I met the essay who was Swedish, because I can talk Norwegian to her. I felt that personal connection right away, so therefore I felt that I could ask her some questions about the system, and she was completely honest with me and said that they didn't have any cancellation this day. This was just right before they closed, so there weren't any open slots when it comes to the appointments that day. But on this day, she gave me her advice, which was to choose a specific store. So I ended up just buying the cypress handles, and I was so lucky about that. So on Friday we just did the same thing. We got ready and stood outside the FSH store, was ready to apply and also to ask in the leather appointment desk. But this time we applied for the FSH store because she said that to me. And in the leather appointment desk they didn't have any appointments or anything. So I was just looking around in the store for at least an hour, I think. Tried on some different clothes, got champagne, and I also bought some other items. I bought the Uly's notebook, the insert for the notebook, and I also bought a ear cuff. And I think that was basically it. We also asked around lunchtime. I didn't wanted to go to the Severus store, and on the St. George store she told me that they didn't have any bags that I wanted, so I didn't want to bother her with asking again the next day. So I didn't stop by that store on Friday. But the day went by and we ate some lunch and was at the Dior Museum. Ended our day at 30 Montaigne, and we were actually just leaving the boutique. Got a text where it says that we got an appointment, and I was completely in shock. I didn't think it was real at all. I was so in shock. I just read the text where it says that they are happy to expect me at 10:30, which is the first appointment of the day on Saturday. And then we came back to the hotel and I just had to check so many times if it was real before I could take it in. But it was real and I couldn't believe it. Then we went out to eat some dinner, and I basically used the whole evening to write down my wishes for the bag, what I wanted, which size, and all of that. Because I think it is better to be prepared so you don't buy a bag that you didn't want because you buy it in that happy spirit. So I wrote down a list so I could just show it to the person at the leather appointment. So that night we went to bed and I couldn't sleep at all. I was so excited. On Saturday we just ate some breakfast and got ready, and this time was very special because we were on the other line, because the days before we were on the line into the store, but this one was the leather appointment line that I looked at every time that I really wanted to be in. When you stay in the line, there is a security guard which basically asks you to see the message. I showed him that and the store opened and they were guiding us upstairs. And here is the place where I'm not sure about the story, because I felt that the person who was assigned to me was randomly assigned, but I don't know if he was personally assigned to us or if it was just random that we were on that place in the queue. I don't know any of that, but he guided us to the tables in the second floor. And here is the part where I didn't want to mess up, because I have heard that many people have messed up here. So I just talked to him. I was a little bit personal, talked about Paris, why we was in Paris and some other stuff. So he got to know me a little bit. I was intentionally going for a Kelly because I have a Birkin in gold. He took a look at my list and then he went away. He was away for around 10 to 15 minutes and I was so stressed out when I was waiting, because I saw that many people got offers like a Picotin, Lindy, Halassan, Bolide, every bags that are not quota bags. And I was so afraid that they didn't have any quota bags because I really wanted a quota bag. And then after 10 to 15 minutes, he came back empty-handed and I was so afraid that he didn't have anything for me. I expected that I at least got a offer, but he came back and he said, follow me. And then I was so happy again. So it was quite a roller coaster. And then we followed him up to the third floor. I didn't get a private room, I was just in the staircase. It was a couch there and such, but it wasn't a private room. I think all the private rooms were occupied, and that's the reason why I didn't get a private room. I was kind of a little bit disappointed about that, but there was 2 boxes waiting for me there, and I was just so happy. So the first bag he opens up was a Birkin 30 in Beton with gold hardware in Togo leather, and it was the bag that I got. So here is she. I'm so happy about her. It is a completely dream. I am so lucky and it doesn't feel real at all. But here she is. She is gorgeous and stunning, and every way she is perfect. My first thoughts were kinda negative because I wanted a Kelly. But when I tried her on and thought about it, I was kind of moving towards her. And the second bag he showed me was a Birkin 30 in black with gold hardware, but in Epsom leather and in retourné. I didn't like it, and I also said no to that specific color, size and material when I first got my first offer, when I was waiting for my gold Birkin, and that's the reason why I didn't want to take it in Paris either. I talked to him and asked, are there any Kellys? No. This was the 2 options that he had for me. He maybe got a Birkin 35, but he wasn't sure about that. And I think 35 is a little bit too big for me, personally. So I didn't want that either. But he was going to check again. And then he came back with 2 boxes. It wasn't quarter bags. It was 2 mini Evelyns. The first one he showed me was in Nata, and the other was in, I think it was in Blue Pale. They were very stunning, and he said that I could also get 1 or 2 of the Evelyns together with the Birkin. But if you know me, I don't like Evelyns that much. I tried them on and they were very beautiful, and I considered it at that time, but I ended up not getting a Evelyn. I just got the Birkin. I also asked him if he was able to follow me along in the store to look at other items. I wanted to look at Twillies, and he followed me around downstairs, and he was a very nice person. So that was basically the story time. I bought a bag and went out of the store. So that was the appointment. With that said, you have 1 hour with your essay when you are having an appointment, so you don't need to rush anything. I felt that he didn't wanted to rush me at all. He was looking around and trying to help me the best way possible, and he was very nice and kind, because I wasn't sure about the Birkin in the first place because I haven't set my mind on a Kelly. But when I thought about it, I thought that I couldn't say no to it, because it is kinda a white bag, but it has that cold grayish undertone, which I really love. After thoughting about it in 20 minutes, I just had to say yes. So yeah, you have 1 hour. Of course, you can leave the appointment before it goes 1 hour, but you have 1 hour that is completely yours with the essay. And also I would like to mention that we only shopped at my account when we were in Paris, so we had to create a new one for him when I bought the bag. So I think that's a confirmation that you don't need to have any purchase history to score an appointment in Paris, because the system is not looking at the purchase history. So moving on to the tips. First one is just to apply when the raffle system opens, 10:30. My second tips is to apply to a specific store. I don't know if that's something that counts, but it helps for me. And the third tips, if you are not getting an appointment, try to get a drop-in appointment, but it is very hard. I haven't had any luck with that, but my advice is to go when the store opens and around lunchtime. And my fourth tip is to, when you are getting your appointment, just write down your wish list. It makes it a lot easier for you to have an idea what you really want, and also your essay, because my essay just looked at the list, and I think that it helped him very much, because he knew that I really wanted a smaller bag, therefore he didn't bring the 35 right away because he knew that I really wanted a smaller bag, and all the specific because he also knew that I only considered neutrals. And the fifth tip is to get to know the essay, talk a little bit to them, because they are persons as well, and I would have felt that it was a lot easier to give a person that I liked and knew a little bit about a dream bag than a person who is a lot less personal and just want the bag, because I think they really appreciate the personal touch, and I believe that you can color their day if you are being a little bit personal. That was my tips, and that was my experience when I was in Paris and my appointment. I'm so lucky and I'm going to enjoy her so much. That was it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If there are any questions, just leave them in the comment section. I will gladly reply to them the best way I can. And if you are considering trying to apply on the Paris system, I wish you guys good luck, and I'm crossing my fingers for you. And if you haven't watched my unboxing already, I will leave the link below so you can watch that as well. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. And if you're not done watching me yet, here is another video, and goodbye!